A should be pretty straightforward because it says every fifth, which should pretty much tell you which kind of sample it is, which is what? Systematic. Because anytime you put them in order and then take every nth one, that's systematic. B, at a local community college, 5 math classes are randomly selected out of 20, and all of the students from each class are interviewed. So there were 20 entire classes. They picked 5 of them, but then everybody in each of those 5 classes were selected. So that makes it what? Cluster. C, a researcher randomly selects and interviews 50 male and 50 female teachers. That means they separated them first by gender and then selected from each gender and ensured that the same amount were included. So that is what? Stratified. D, a researcher for an airline interviews all passengers on 5 randomly selected flights. So again, they take 5 flights and then take everybody from each of those 5, which is cluster. A community college student interviews everyone in a biology class to determine the percentage of students that own a car. That one is very vague. What are they trying to determine? Who has cars? What does it say? So of students, have they included all of them? But they picked a class and interviewed everybody in it. So your answer is cluster. A market researcher randomly selects 200 drivers under the age of 35 and 100 over the age of 35. That's what? Stratified. I split it by age group and then selected some from each. All teachers from 85 randomly selected nations, middle schools were interviewed. So 85 were randomly selected, and then all of them from each one of the selected ones were interviewed. So that is cluster. The names of 70 contestants are written on 70 cards. They're placed in a bag, and 3 names are picked from the bag. That is simple random sample. So I think a lot of this is practicing a couple and then be like, oh, okay, now I get how easy this is. More so than anything. Which one's the lobster one? Cluster? Yeah. Okay. And then just making sure that you're not overdoing this part. For 2A, what is our population? All American households. For here, the sample, now, including the number is never required in the sample, but sometimes it's just easier to be specific. So it's technically the American households that were surveyed, but a lot of times people just include the number, the 1,353 American households that were surveyed. So those, don't overthink. Can you say that again? Your population is just all American households. Mm-hmm. Your sample is the 1,353 American households that were surveyed. I think that's all I want to go over right now, and then go ahead and keep working.